And for Off the Block, I'm Vinny Lopes, and we are now joined by McKendree for their pre-match news conference as they are taking on Lewis in the Molten Off the Block National Match of the Week. And Coach Salen, thank you so much for joining us here. I guess we'll open up the floor to you. Can you just give us your initial thoughts of the first place McKendree Bearcats take it on, one of the top teams in the conference, Lewis?
Let's see. Vinny, you know me. I'm always pretty honest. We did not have a good practice week. I'm going to throw that out there. He looked at me because it's funny because it's true. But we're not a young team anymore, if that makes sense. So, yes, my level of concern is low, but championship mentality, I know these guys can take care of business. So it's just like they respect their opponent. It's always a great match. We're very fond of the Lewis team. It's just going to be fun. So I'm just kind of excited to get going.
And just to piggyback off that, Zach, Lucas, when you guys have a, bad week of practice, what's some things that you guys are got to do in between now and the match just get mentally ready and prepared so that doesn't transition over to the match?
I think for me, it's just we got a couple of serving passes, about a half hour before the game, I think, and
practice tomorrow too.
Yeah, and practice tomorrow as well. Got a couple more sessions of film, so I think for me, it's just kind of focusing up individually, kind of hoping everyone else does the same, and then when we come together as a group during our practice sessions, we can kind of forget what happened during the week and just try to focus up for the game ahead and just kind of forget what happened.
Yeah, I think it's just about like realizing what we did wrong at practice and just moving forward. Can't just frown upon it too much, I guess, and just go to the next day and do your best the next day.
And don't get me wrong, it was bad, but we're not terrible.
No. Absolutely. Well, Coach, we'll open it up to Jonathan Bates, who's here as well. Jonathan, I'll give the floor over to you for your question.
Question for the players. Since both of you are graduate students, you guys have played with Brendan Schmidt as a player. How much of an adjustment is it to call him coach now?
It's definitely different, but I enjoy it. Being a middle blocker myself, I'm able to learn a lot from him. Obviously, his professional career, his career here at McKendree. He knows what he's doing. So being able to call him coach is important for me because he's able to teach me a lot of things that even in my fifth year, I didn't know. So it's improving my game, and I appreciate being able to call him coach.
Yeah, it's easy to call him coach because he's teaching us a lot about the game. And he's just helping us out a lot with blocking schemes and just, like you said, overall knowledge. And like professional volleyball level is just like, it's different, and national volleyball level is just different, and we're just glad to learn from him.
Yeah. Nikki, talking about blocking schemes, when you talk about Lewis, you look at their middle attackers and their ability to run middle. What do you guys have to do to with your blocking game to make sure that players like Tyler Mitchum aren't having big nights against you on Friday?
One thing that we're very confident in is that we're very confident in our blocking ability. But you have to understand the same sense of a team such as Lewis. It's okay if he scores his points. You're not going to completely shut down. Like that would be a perfect storm of, oh, great, we completely shut down Tyler Mitchum, but they have, TJ and Kunin and Bouger. It's a level of containment, if that makes sense. It's not like, hey, we're completely shut him down. He's a great player. So be confident in our scheme, what we're doing, our game plan, and hopefully everything takes shape.
We'll throw it back here to Jonathan as a question for Coach Salen.
Coach Salen, it's well documented that you and Coach Friend have a good rivalry and working relationship. Can you speak to what you've learned from him as a fellow coach?
Again, self-professed, I love Dan Friend. I'm not afraid to say it. I'm a fan, obviously a competitor. I've said it before. He was one of my first supporters when I was in this journey as a coach. And I aspire to do what he's done, if that makes sense, in the Division II realm. Being okay with hearing the word no, finding kids like these guys right here that, and I kind of joke, I think we talked last time of kids that nobody wanted. I wanted them, and we're wrecking shop because we don't need all the frills and whistles. These guys work hard every day, good or bad. It doesn't matter. They come in and grind for the program and the team on their back. So Dan is someone I can rely on to give me straight advice, to give me a straight talk, because I don't want anybody to blow smoke at me, and someone I can rely on. So yeah, we're competitors, but you always have to respect your opponent. You can learn something from them, and I learn something from him on a regular basis, if he knows it or not. So thanks, Dan.
All right, we'll now go on over to Brandon Johnson, who has a question. Brandon.
Hey everyone. I like to joke. I'm over here on the West Coast. I like to joke sometimes that McKendree is a school that a lot of people have never even heard of. I gotta be honest. I wasn't even sure where you guys were fully located, to be perfectly frank with you. Can you talk to us about the journey that the program has been from going, negative 500 record, and then the progression it's made in the last few years to a 500 record, winning record last year, and then 7-0 now. So maybe for the players, like what that progression has been about, and then for Coach Sandlin about the importance of what this upper class seniors class has been for the program.
I think it's just the standard that's been set since my freshman year. There was people who started the program and they went through some hard times, being a new program, facing the toughest teams such as Lewis. And with that, they kind of worked hard. They kept upping the standard for the next class that was coming in. And I think that's carried over. So now where we are in our 5th year, now we're trying to set the standard for the freshmen coming in. So with all the hard work that the guys before us put in, we're just trying to take that one next level up, and hopefully that continues once we're gone.
Yeah, I was just going to say it's all about never being satisfied. And the older guys taught us that well, and we're just here and we're trying to teach that to our young guys now too.
So it's my turn now. Special group, these two right here. I've known Zach, aka Brody. I'll never call him Zach. That just feels weird. Brody since he's been 14. His brother was in our first class. And I've had the pleasure of coaching him, obviously, and Andy, and then have the luxury of having great parents in the program. Lucas, obviously, they both chose to stay for COVID year. And for them to be a part of that original group that has seen kind of the transition of how the program has gone is special, because they can testify to that. And kind of piggybacking on what I said about practice earlier this week, it's not that practice was awful and they were not training well. It was the fact of we are not year 1 to McKendree anymore. Our standard is like, what is championship mentality? That's why it was bad to me, because they do have the skill. We're here for a reason. The program has taken off because of what they've done, and they've believed in me. That's why we're doing what we're doing, and I'm not going to let them forget what the standard they've already set. So I'm just kind of the facilitator, if that makes sense. I'm just facilitating the work they've already put in, and guess what? I'll give you a kick in the behind to just make sure you remember that we're 7-0 for a reason, and you have to continue to maintain now that, people around the country are like, who's McKendree, McKenzie, mac and cheese, McKinley, the straight disrespect of not even, looking us up or giving us credit for when credit's due. Like, yes, we've beat good teams. It's not because those good teams had bad matches. It's because we're good. That's not a fluke. And I'm hoping that these young men, I know they understand, but I hope that they showcase that. We will showcase that on Friday night. I'm not going to say hope. We will do that. But that's kind of where we're going. We're trending upward. These guys are setting a standard. They came back. They're leaders for me. That's why they're on this call. And we're just going to keep grinding. So that's how it is.
I know, Brandon, I think you had a follow-up question as well.
Yeah, so just following up on that with Coach Sandlin, what would a victory against a highly ranked Lewis team do for the program moving forward and for recruiting overall?
What would it do? It should be, Lewis is an amazing team, but it should be the expectation, not like the goal to beat Lewis. It's a conference opponent. We recruit the same. We train the same. We have the same caliber of athletes. We're all recruiting Division I, II athletes. That's the standard. I'm not begging any kids to come here. So if you don't want to come here because, hey, you're in Lebanon, Illinois, and St. Louis, Jonathan, I told him last week or 2 weeks ago, I'm like, my kids will actually fight you. And there's a lot of kids out in the country that say they want to be about that life, and they're not. So great, we beat Lewis. That's what we need to do, because they're going to come back even stronger 2 weeks later. And you have to work harder. And then you have Loyola, and you have Fort Wayne, then you have Ball State. It's not going to do anything for recruiting, because guess what? People out there that don't know our program are going to be like, oh, Lewis just played bad because McKendree, they're a bunch of nobodies and they didn't recruit anyone. Or no, we earned that. So yeah, recruiting. Kids, if you want to come here, you gotta be ready to fight and grind. Otherwise, we don't want you.
So I think let's throw it off. Well, first off, Nikki, I have to say, as a Ball State alum, thanks for including Ball State in the tough upcoming opponents. Always appreciate that. John, I think Jonathan had one or two more questions, and I'll close out with a question as well. So Jonathan, floor is yours.
All right. First question. I'll pull a Vinny here and ask a lighthearted question. So I believe Zach and Lucas have to be Chicago fans, but I know that Coach Sandlin and Coach Schmidt are St. Louis Cardinal fans. So is there a lot of trash talking, especially with that Nolan Arenado trade? Full disclosure, me and Brandon are big Dodger fans, so you can hit on us if you want.
No, I'll give a testament back to Coach Staple, because he would get on the boys all the time because he's a Chicago guy and they would talk all the time. But it's okay. I know where my allegiance lies. I don't need to, brag about it. It's okay. Best fans in baseball. No worries.
And then my serious question. So the schedule has set up that you're, and this is a question, I guess, for the players. Sorry, that most of the all of your matches have been basically in the greater St. Louis area. The road trip to Linden one being the one that is away from campus. So this one's your first away match. Is there any, especially in the pandemic, is there any apprehension about this road trip at all, or are you just taking this as just another road trip?
I think it's pretty similar to the road trips we've taken in the past. This is my 5th year, and this is his 5th year as well, traveling. We've been to a lot of road matches. We kind of understand what needs to be done on road matches. I don't think, well, in this case, it's just one game this weekend, but for 2 weekends in a row with the same team, it's pretty similar to what we've done in the past, playing 2 games on the weekend. So we pretty much handle it the same as we always have. We just prepare, get ready to play, and we do what we need to.
Nikki, final question. We'll end on this. It's challenging enough coaching one team. You're coaching 2 teams at the exact same time. Can you just tell us how that's going? What's your level of caffeine that you're pumping in your body every day? Are you like Hermione Granger, have a time turner, try to keep up with everything? How is this going, coaching both teams? Both seasons are going on at the same time.
Well, obviously with Schmidt being hired on, we were running down his day-to-day responsibilities. I go, your number one job is to take care of me. So if you need to get a Red Bull bomb and throw it in the office and shut the door, we're good. I've cried almost every weekend just because I'm tired. And both teams do an amazing job of taking care of me. And when I say I need help, I'm not afraid to say, hey, guys, I need help. Hey, girls, I need help. Because we are not your traditional team. We're a family. Families fight. Families love each other. At the end of the day, we got each other's back. Like, think about your brother and sister. You're like, I can pick on you, but nobody else can pick on you. So yeah, I can yell at the boys, I can yell at the women, but no one else better step in foot in our gym and do the same thing. But it's good time management. I have a great administration. I told my AD to remind me that I signed up for this stress. I only have 2 conflicts, so I'm actually coaching 34 matches in this season. So when the guys finish on Friday, I go back home and I coach 2 women's matches on Saturday night. And it's just, I have to be good for these kids. They're not kids, these young adults, because they deserve it. They've earned it. They have to have the best version of me. And I'm not going to lie and say, like, hey, I'm doing great, because that's not real life. I think they have earned the respect of saying, hey, I struggle. It's okay to struggle, because you guys are getting me through this. You're making all of this time and effort worth it. And that's why I'm doing it. And I don't regret it. I'd do it again if I had to.